right. So, when someone comes out and says, I'm a Viking warrior, you kind of have this picture in your head, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And Danny Gee, I mean, he really does have that presence. But what got me about his story is that it's not all, bare knuckle fights and like street justice stuff. It's deeper than that. It starts actually pretty normal.
Yeah, it's funny listening to him talk about Doncaster. You almost forget, what he becomes later. He's into sports, loves learning, even thought about going pro in basketball, golf even.
Seriously.
Yeah, like a totally different life.
Wild. And then, bam, 14 years old, he's out on his own. Can you imagine having to survive like that at that age?
It's just,
Yeah.
it's a level of vulnerability most of us can't even fathom.
Yeah.
And to be, like, preyed upon, basically forced into that life.
Yeah. It's bleak, man. Like, you'd hope moving to Birmingham would be a fresh start, but it's almost like it sucked him deeper in.
Totally. All that talk about burglaries, stealing, it's not glamorous. It's just him trying to survive.
Okay.
To eat, have a place to sleep.
Yeah. And then, 16, he gets caught. Could have been put away for 5, 10 years, but he still covers for the people who exploited him, I did the crime, I'll do the time, he says.
It's messed up, right? But that's loyalty in that world, I guess.
Yeah. And then he ends up in juvie, and you can feel this change when he talks about it. Like, all that swagger is gone. It gets real.
The violence, man. It's like it's closing in on you as he's describing it. And what makes it worse is his family. They abandoned him completely.
No visits, nothing.
Nothing.
Man, to be that isolated at that age, on top of everything else.
That's where the snap happens, I think. All that pressure, the bullying, feeling betrayed. He just couldn't take it anymore.
He says he went from normal to nuts practically overnight. Chillin'.
He's like, hurt them before they hurt you. It's like the switch flips.
Yeah.
And that's Danny Gee right there in the making.
The same one who says, I will hurt you more than you've ever been hurt in your life, and you will never come back for seconds. Intense stuff.
Intense, but he's adamant, even with that he's not a bully. Reacts, doesn't start it, that's his thing.
So even with all that, he's got this code.
He's got a code, yeah. And we'll see how that plays out as we go on, because he gets tested a lot. Tested, especially when he goes back to Doncaster. Thinks he can, reconnect with his mom, get a clean slate.
You'd think right, after all that.
But nah, this is Danny Gee. Drama follows this guy. Finds his mom with his Joey character, same guy from before, still trouble.
And not just trouble this time.
Oh, no. This time it's serious. He's carved her up, tried to slit her throat. Can you believe it?
Brutal.
Brutal's an understatement. And Danny, he's right out of juvie, remember? That whole hurt them first thing is practically hardwired in him by now.
So he snaps.
He and his brother, Simon, they go after Joey. Find him in some pub bathroom. It's a whole thing. Danny lays him out, rugby tackle, bam. But it's Simon. Simon goes to town, stomps on Joey's face while Danny's holding him down.
Jeez.
Yeah, pretty intense. But get this, his own mother, she rushes in, breaks it up, and who does she go after?
Not Joey, I'm guessing.
Nope, Danny. Starts yelling at him, hitting him, the whole 9 yards. More upset about him fighting back than the guy who almost killed her.
That's messed up.
Messed up is putting it mildly. Danny's done, packs his bags, goes back to Birmingham, no family, nowhere else to go.
And that's where Tony comes in?
Tony. Now this is where it gets interesting. Remember how Danny was so sure she was the one? Turns out, he was right.
Oh, kidding.
No kidding. He's smitten. Describes walking past her house every day hoping to see her.
Oh, that's kind of sweet, actually.
It is. But of course it's not simple. Tony seeing someone else.
Of course.
Right. Then, New Year's Eve, in front of everyone, including her boyfriend and Danny's girlfriend at the time, she grabs him, kisses him.
Bold move.
Bold doesn't even cover it.
Yeah.
A month later, they're living together.
Wow. So they moved to Smethwick, and it's not exactly a picnic, right?
Smethwick. Nay, it's rough around the edges. And Danny, being Danny, well, he finds himself in the thick of it. But here's the thing. He's got this stepson now, Anthony. And Danny, he's fiercely protective.
Protective how?
These older kids, dealing drugs, almost run Anthony over. Danny goes off on him, lays down the law, no messing around when it comes to his family, and word gets around.
That Danny's not someone to mess with.
Exactly. Guys twice his size, coming to their door looking for a fight. Danny ends up dropping them before they can blink.
Just like that.
Just like that. He tells this story. 2 guys show up, thinking they're tough. Next thing you know, they're both out cold. It's almost funny the way he describes it. But it's like Danny doesn't go looking for it, but he's ready.
It's that whole, I will hurt you.
Right. But there's also this line he won't cross. It's like he's got this moral compass. even in that world.
Okay, but he loses it sometimes, right?
Oh, yeah, there are moments. And usually it's Anthony who sets him off.
Of course.
Like this one time, Anthony gets beat up by this guy. And get this, Danny says the guy looked like you.
Hey, come on, man.
I know, right? But here's the thing. Danny doesn't just punch the guy. He threatens to press charges, says he'll have the guy thrown in jail for assaulting a minor, and it works. The guy freaks out. It's like Danny knows the system, knows how to use it to his advantage.
So there's more to it than just fighting.
Way more. This is a smart guy. But just when you think you've got him figured out, he throws you a curveball. Starts talking about these like crazy experiences, almost like something out of a movie.
Knocks himself out with a dart. A dart? Who does that?
It's those stories, man.
Yeah.
You could practically hear Tony in the background just shaking her head, laughing. And the mushroom stories. Don't even get me started.
Those were wild.
Wild doesn't even cover it. 1 minute he's in the Amazon, thinks he's on some chain gang. The next, his friend's the devil. It's like, this guy pushes it to the limit, you know?
Yeah.
And not just with fighting.
Yeah, he's got that curious side, definitely.
Totally. Always testing boundaries.
Though, after hearing about those Liberty caps, I'll stick to coffee, thanks.
Probably a good call.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's not just about getting high, is it? It's like he's searching for something.
Definitely. So then there's the bouncing. I mean, talk about a tough guy job. But he's got this whole code, even then, right?
Oh, yeah. He runs a tight ship, makes sure everyone's safe, even the, as he puts it, dickheads.
Right. He's looking out for everyone.
Exactly. Professional, even when things get rough, which of course they do. That story about Liverpool defending his friend ends up arrested again.
Walking out of the police station, beat up, wearing that, what was it, gray woolly top thing.
It's hilarious.
Yes.
And then he gets those same cops to give him a ride home.
Yeah.
Classic Danny.
Classic. But you can tell it takes a toll, you know? All that fighting, the arrests, the drama, it adds up.
And then his dad dies. That's where you really see the cracks in the armor.
Yeah, that got to me. You could hear the regret.
His dad always wanted him to find a different way, you know, a way out.
And it's like, that's when things start to change for him. He finds meditation, starts talking about compassion. Pretty unexpected, right?
Right. This guy, the Viking warrior, finding peace. It makes you realize people can change no matter what.
It really does. So what's the takeaway here? Can you really be that tough and still find peace?
I don't know, but Danny Gee makes you think. Makes you realize people are complicated. There's always more to the story.
So was more. Well, that was heavy, but good.
Definitely. Makes you think.
That's what we do here. Thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.